Welcome back, everybody, and today I want to talk about how Battlefield 6 has saved shooters, in my opinion. I have been so addicted to this game. I've been playing it a lot. I've been doing videos on it, and I plan to do even more. I have not been this into a shooter since BattleBit Remastered. And with my history of Battlefield, I started with Bad Company 2. One of the greatest Battlefield games of all time was Bad Company 2. The game obviously lacks the features that the modern Battlefield games have, but the immersion in that game was something so special. It's very hard to replicate in modern games. And then you got Battlefield 3, which I've put hundreds of hours into, both on the Xbox 360 back in the day, and PC when I first got my gaming PC, way back when. Battlefield 4, I also put a ton of hours into, hundreds of hours. That game had quite a rough launch compared to the other games, but over time the game got so much better and improved, and Battlefield 4 is still pretty popular to this day. A lot of people didn't like Hardline, but I actually really love that game, and I'm sad to see that game die. I loved Hardline. That cops and robbers feeling was amazing. Battlefield 1 was very popular. At first, I couldn't really get into it because I couldn't get into the World War I setting, but a couple months ago, I really binged the hell out of the game, trying to unlock everything, and I had a good time doing it. It was actually pretty immersive. Then you got Battlefield 5, which got mixed reception for various reasons. I thought the game was pretty good. At launch, it was rough, but once again, like Battlefield 4, over time, the game got better. And we got 2042, which probably had the worst launch of any Battlefield game, and over time became a pretty solid shooter. And that game was really bad at first. Not even just performance-wise, because Battlefield 4 was had performance issues at the beginning. This game had performance issues, missing features, lack of content. They had a lot of things going wrong with it. But then here we are at Battlefield 6. The launch, perfect. Other than at the very, very beginning of the launch, there was a cap on the server population because they had to update it to be ready for the massive wave of players going in. Well, other than that, the game doesn't really have any performance issues from my experience and hearing other people's experiences. It seems to run pretty smooth. I run this game on higher settings than I thought my computer could handle. Because I was going to put this game on medium high. By default, it's on high ultra, and I wasn't expecting that. That's what the default is for the auto detect feature, and it's running butter smooth. I'm not getting any frame drops. I'm not getting any micro stuttering. It's insane how optimized this game is. And it's just got a lot of things going well for it. It has plenty of content at the beginning of the game. I think some weapon categories should have a few more, like the snipers, the DMRs, shotguns, and handguns, but hopefully over time they end up adding more to those categories because we definitely need some more there. But, you know, for right now, things are going very well. And it's also crazy to see that there's a lot of Call of Duty content creators and players going to Battlefield because the experience is just something you can't get out of any other game. Before I really get into the good meat and potatoes of why I think Battlefield 6 is incredible, there's really only one negative that I've come across. And it's been pretty annoying, but I managed to work through it and get it done. And that's the buggy challenges. Specifically, the challenges for the expert for the classes. Killing enemies that are under the effects of a concussion grenade. Very buggy. I have gotten so many concussion assist or stun assist from the stun grenades, and it didn't count. And that was rough trying to get that done. That was probably the hardest challenge I've done in the game so far. And then there was the heal people as support and resupply them with health, and I did a lot of that, and for the longest time it never counted. It stayed at 0. But thankfully I eventually got it done. Other than that, I haven't really had many issues in the game. The immersion in Battlefield 6 is just incredible. Seeing buildings coming down with vehicles driving into them, destroying floors. You see a camper, you blow the wall up, you bring the buildings down. You know, it's things like that that really immerse you in the game, and sometimes you forget you're playing a game and you're there experiencing the game rather than playing it. If that makes sense. That's kind of like the best way that I can explain it. The immersion is on another level. There's something special about trying to repair a tank or revive people, and there's gunshots, explosions, smoke, and all this stuff happening around you. The sound design is on another level. If there's one thing that every Battlefield game does right, no matter how rough the launch is, they have amazing sound design. The weapons feel impactful. Everything is just very bassy and in your face. I love it. Everything just sounds great. The way the weapons are designed, along with the attachment system, I love the attachment system. Being able to really customize your weapon like that in many different categories really adds that extra flavor of customization for weapons. The maps, amazing. Great map. The maps have great layouts. There's a lot of areas for cover. You got your open areas. You got a bunch of buildings you can hide in depending on the map. I think right now my favorite map is the snow map. I can't think of what the name is though. But that's probably my favorite one so far. That one, and I think it's called New Sobek, the one with the construction buildings in the middle of the map. Another one of my favorites. But the maps are just... there's a good amount of them, too. And the maps kind of change depending on the game mode you play, so... It's almost like playing a different map, almost. Another great thing about the game, at least from what I've seen so far, there's no skill-based matchmaking. Something that is just so obnoxious in Call of Duty and has gotten worse over time. In this game, it seems like you just join a server with players, and that's it. There's no skill-based matchmaking. At least I hope not. I could be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But from my experience, it feels like every game has been fair. You're going to have your matches where you do bad, you do good. You're going to have games where you have the enemy team just pummeling you into the ground, and then you're going to be doing the pummeling. But it doesn't feel like if I do good one game, the next game I have to sweat to do good. I can do well consistently amongst multiple games, or I don't perform well across multiple games. It's pretty fair. And not only this, but the game has a server browser too for community servers. So this game has a lot going on for it, and has a lot of longevity since it has community servers in case the official servers ever get shut down one day. One thing I also love is that, at least so far, hopefully it stays like this, but the camos and skins for your characters, the vehicles, and the weapons all have that military feel to it. Nothing is like super pop in your face and just ruins the military immersion of the game. Everything kind of fits in that setting. And weapons have... it seems like weapons have two progression skins. There's like this... I can't think of what it's called. It looks like the weapon's covered in like this camouflage dirt kind of stuff. And then there's this like really shiny copper skin, which I'm assuming is supposed to be like going for a gold skin in Call of Duty. This copper skin is equivalent to that, and it looks really nice. I haven't unlocked any weapons with that skin yet. That's kind of like my end game goal is to get that skin for all the weapons, hopefully. But even though it's a progression skin and it's supposed to be at least I think equivalent to gold, it still fits within the setting of Battlefield. And honestly, of all the stuff I've said, I don't really have much negatives about the game, other than the buggy challenges. And I guess the other small thing is that there is an inconsistency when it comes to the game modes, because it seems to rotate them very frequently. So I like playing close quarter battles lockdown to get that itch I get when I used to play Call of Duty, and then sometimes that game mode vanishes. And then there's close quarter battles. I forgot what it's called, but it has team deathmatch in it, and I don't really like the team deathmatch in Battlefield 6, so I kind of just avoid playing it. I mainly like King of the Hill and Breakthrough, my two favorite game modes. So I kind of wish that the game modes kind of stuck instead of rotated. But I guess there's nothing wrong with that. You can always select Breakthrough. You can always select Conquest. All-Out Warfare also rotates, so sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not, which is basically Conquest and Breakthrough combined, or Breakthrough and Escalation, I think. Sometimes it rotates the game modes it has. So sometimes you don't know what you're going to be getting yourself into. But even then, you can still select the game modes to play. At least the main ones. They're always going to be there. And that's why I said it's like a really small negative I have for the game. Because, I mean, it is what it is. If they keep it in the game, whatever. You can work around it. It's no big deal. If they get rid of it, cool. But overall, Battlefield 6, I think, saved shooters. I have not bought a modern AAA game, I think, in the last couple years. And if I have, I'm very, very selective with AAA games for various reasons. I mean, the biggest thing is because modern AAA games are like $70 now, $80. And if I'm going to spend that much money on a game, I got to make sure the game is almost flawless and really scratches every itch that I'm craving for in that game. Because 70, 80 bucks, that's a lot of money to ask for a game. And considering a bunch of indie games nowadays are coming out $10, $15, $20, there's definitely competition with AAA games. But I gotta say, Battlefield 6 has been worth every penny. And I don't really know what else to say. This whole video, hopefully I haven't been rambling too much or losing track, but I did this entire video without a script. Usually I do scripts for videos like this, but to talk about Battlefield 6, since Battlefield is one of my favorite shooters of all time, and I have so many memories playing with friends and even family members in Battlefield, I want to do this video from the top of the dome and just really try to go at it from a different angle instead of scripting it out. But that's really all I have for this video. A little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but at least I got what I wanted to say out. Battlefield 6, once again, just one of the best AAA games that I've played in a while, and I haven't seen anything as good, at least from the AAA area. I'm still going to do Battlefield 6 videos. I plan to do more. I want to play more of the game modes. Like I said, I wish, if they ever had it a King of the Hill mode as like a permanent game mode you can always play, I would play that so much. But that's really, I think, all I have to talk about the game. So, if you guys are looking for a great shooter, It's a little bit pricey, but it's worth every penny. Trust me, look at all the reviews of the game, look at gameplay on YouTube. The game does wonders and satisfies players in various aspects that it offers. So with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.